overwhelmingly, women first look for security, status, and then... Hey guys, what's going on? Megan here. Alright, so today is Saturday, so we're going to focus on questions about dating, getting girls, cheek clapping, you name it, right? Sex Talk Saturday, so we're going to look at dating and cheek clapping questions. And let's start with the first one. Alright, what's your opinion on the black pill? Oh god, I actually need to make a dedicated video to this shit. Because again, don't get me wrong, there is some truth to it, but a lot of it is BS. In fact, most of it is BS. But anyway, I'm not going to read this whole thing. You guys can pause the video and read, but pretty much I'll read the first part. The black pill is a theory that your genetics are the most important thing for attracting women and your success in the cheek clapping department. To me, it makes a lot of sense because women are the pickier sex, which is true. Things like your confidence and charisma is said to not matter if your genetics aren't way above average, as women are only interested in mating with genetically superior men. It happened a lot in the past, and this behavior happens in other animals only the alpha males make. But anyway, so I already responded to it, so I suggest you guys go and check my response here. But I'm going to break down the response, right? So, but pretty much, I can't wait until I find time to address this in an actual vid. Like I said, I'm going to make a dedicated video to this. But most of the black pill nonsense is pure BS, right? And it is, for this main reason. Again, I'm still reading. Women care more about security, which is financial security and physical security, and social status than they do about looks. I've been telling you guys, women care about three main things in this specific order. Number one is security. Number two is status. And number three is sexiness, right? So your looks, your genetics, whatever, in that order. And this is backed up by not only a ton of research, but also anecdotes and my own goddamn experience, right? And you can go all around the world. You can go in Africa, you can go in Asia, you can go in Europe, America, anywhere you go. You can look at hunter-gatherer tribes, you can look at agricultural societies that all follow the same pattern. Are there exceptions to the rule? Of course. But again, we don't focus on exceptions. We focus on what works for most people. And most of the time, overwhelmingly, women first look for security, status, and then sexiness, in that order. And it's a subconscious thing. They don't go out of their way and actually plan it. It's a subconscious thing. It's through tens of thousands of years of evolution. Remember, guys, we live in a modern day, modern times, but our brain is still adapted to living as hunters and gatherers. Right? Homo sapiens are only about 300,000 years old. And if you want to go even further than that, technically we've been around for millions of years, right? You're going to go back to Homo erectus, as far back as possible. It's the same pattern. Women had to first look for security. That's the first thing they look for, right? Because think about it, right? A woman is the most vulnerable when she's pregnant, right? Think about it. She has to carry a baby for 9 months, which reduces her ability to hunt, reduces her ability to run or fight predators. Right after the baby's born, holy shit, now it's even worse because now the son of a bitch is crying all night, crying all day, attracting predators, attracting enemies, right? Makes it very hard for her to move around because she has to watch the kid constantly. If she puts the kid down, a snake can snap his shit up, or an eagle can fly out of nowhere and pick it up. So when a woman has a kid, for the next at least 3 years of her life, her ability to protect herself, her ability to run from predators, her ability to fight drastically goes down because she's attached to the kid. She has to breastfeed, she has to watch over it overnight, right? So for women to survive, one day they have to be surrounded by a bunch of other women, or they have to have a strong male around, or a group of men to provide security. That is why to this day their brain is still wired that way. So no, women don't look for looks first. The reason why they look for looks on Tinder and stuff like that is because that's the only thing they can fucking see is your looks. But when a woman has to choose between someone who has resources, right? So in the modern day, money, house, safety, a job, whatever. If she has to pick between that or good looks, most of the time she'll pick the security first. The good looks is a bonus, right? And after the security thing is out of the way, then they look for the next thing, which is social status. Because a guy can have a lot of financial security, can be able to provide physical security, but if he's low in status, he can lose that shit overnight, right? Again, look back to the hunter-gatherer days and when we were living in agricultural society, same thing, right? If you have a lot of resources but you're low in social status, somebody can just come up and take your shit, right? So what's the point? Also, if you're at the bottom of the social hierarchy, you're more likely to be abandoned by the tribe, especially if you're sick. If you have a contagious disease and you're at the bottom of the totem pole, the tribe is going to move on. They're going to be like, oh, sorry, deuces. You're not going to kill the rest of us. Whereas if you're higher on a social ladder, not only your chance of survival is higher if you're sick, but your chance of abandonment is also lower. So that's why women scan for social status. And again, that doesn't mean you got to be number one. You don't have to be Elon Musk, Brad Pitt, or whatever. No, you just have to be high enough in status. I call it relative status, right? High enough in status within your group, within your job, whatever, right? I always give the example: if you're a garbage collector, then be at the top of the garbage collectors, right? If you work as a, I don't know, fucking overnight stocker at Walmart or some shit, as long as you're not at the bottom of the hierarchy, right? So they look for relative status, meaning within your city, within your group, within your high school, within your college, within your band. Doesn't matter what the fuck it is, as long as you're not at the bottom, you get a bonus. And lastly, they look for sexiness, which is genetics, your looks, your height, your face, your muscle mass, all that stuff. People think that looks is what women look for first. Wrong. They only look for looks when they do not have other proxies to estimate the first two, which is your ability to provide security and status. And trust me, if women only look for looks, ugly niggas like myself will not have clapped that many cheeks in our lifetime. And it's not just me. I could show you guys who were ugly as shit, especially when I was growing up, even all the way into my 20s, who were clapping cheeks like crazy. Why? Because they were able to overcompensate in the other areas, in the security part or the status part. I mean, I have so many stories. If I have a time, I could make videos and tell you guys stories of friends who were just really, really good at basketball or really good at sports or really good at something, and were clapping way more cheeks than the handsome brothers, mainly because they were higher in status, right? An extreme example is Jay-Z and Beyonce. You think Beyonce's with Jay-Z because of his fucking looks? Like, come on, guys, right? I could show you so many butt-ass ugly celebrities who are clapping a ridiculous amount of cheeks because they have security and status, even though they suck at the sexiness part, right? Which is also why women would pick a quote-unquote unattractive, rich, or popular guy over a very handsome, tall, homeless man. Think about it. The homeless man has the looks, the sexiness, but he lacks on the other two. So you have to understand that the reason why women have evolved to even look for genetics in the first place, half of it is because obviously they want to pass on good genes to their son or to their daughter, to their kid. But mainly it's because back then, sexiness, good looks, was a proxy, was a way to measure a man's ability to provide security and status. Think about it. Back in the days, for you to be tall, handsome, symmetrical, have a good immune system, all that stuff, right? You have to have resources. Once again, security, right? Financial security. You have to have resources. You have to be part of a good tribe that was successful at hunting, successful at farming, whatever the fuck that society valued, right? And obviously you have to be high enough in status. You have to be healthy. You have to be clean and all that stuff, right? So the reason why they look at looks is mainly because that's a proxy for security and status. You see it in poor countries where when men don't have resources, when men are low in status, what happens? They're shorter. They have more negative mutations, right? They're a lot more unattractive. Whereas in societies where men have a lot of resources or are higher in status, they tend to be taller and better looking, right? So women look at looks because that's how they estimate security and status. And like I say, subconscious. They don't think about it when they're doing it. It's a subconscious thing, right? So anyway, so like I say here, in fact, the reason women have even evolved to scan for good looks in the first place is because back in the days, that was the best proxy for a man's ability to provide security, ability to acquire and protect resources and status. In short, back then, a tall, strong, symmetrical male was usually a sign that he was a good hunter and or was high enough in social status. We see this in countries all around the world, even in hunter-gatherer tribes to this day. In parentheses, women, because in those places, women choosing unattractive guys over attractive guys, mainly because the ugly guy has a ton of money or is extremely popular. Right? We see this all around the world, guys. That's why there are many ugly but famous rich dudes who clap cheeks and many good-looking men who have a hard time keeping girlfriends. Guys, I have so many friends. And again, keep in mind, my promiscuous days ended when I was 23 because that's when my daughter was born and I had to settle down. But prior to that, I lost my virginity pretty late, around 16. Where I grew up, trust me, that was fucking late as fuck. And the reason why I lost it so late was because, once again, I was skinny, I was broke, I was an immigrant, right? Remember back then, that was before Black Panther, guys. If you were African back then, you were not getting no ass. Everybody was making fun of you. I barely spoke English until I turned 13, 12. That's when I really mastered the language. So it was hard for me to get started. But once I went up in status, and for me, I got lucky. I ended up being really good at basketball. But I was also good at many other things that helped increase my status. Again, it wasn't super high, but it was high enough to clap endless fucking cheeks. And I was clapping more cheeks than my friends who looked better than me. Remember, I was always a short, ugly guy. 5'7", 5'8" on a good day. Most of my friends were 5'9", 5'10". I was always broke. at the time. I used to work at Walmart and Kroger and, all these things. But what I had going for me was I was never at the bottom of a social hierarchy. I was never super low in status, right? Girls like social guys. Girls like extroverted guys. Girls like guys who have a lot of friends and who are good communicators and who are assertive. So that's what allowed me to be cheek clapper numero uno at the time. Whereas I have friends who were extremely good looking, extremely tall, but they were too introverted, they were too shy, they were afraid to communicate, they were low in social status, believe it or not, and they could go a whole year without clapping cheeks. So it's not all about looks, guys. But anyway, I put here, don't get me wrong, looks matter, but not as much as status and ability to provide financial and physical security, right? So if you short or ugly, meaning you fell on the sexiness part of the SSS model, I call it the triple S model, there's still hope. You just have to overcompensate by becoming really good at the security and status part. So conclusion, you can read the rest of my responses down here. But conclusion, guys, it's not all about looks. Looks plays a big role. Obviously, if you're dating online, yeah, the only thing the bitch can see is your fucking face and how you look. So of course, that's what she's gonna rank. But if you go out there in the world, if you go out there and compete, you go out there and make friends and hang out, and most girls that you're gonna meet are not gonna be online anyway. This generation, you guys are so lost, like trying to meet everybody online. Go out there, go play sports, go join a club, join an organization. Women are found out there, right? Usually friends of friends, or people that you meet through through your family or through acquaintances, right? You got to be social. You guys are stuck in your goddamn phone all day thinking everything happens online, right? If you plan the online game, you're going to lose, because online, the women are only going to look for how you look, because that's the only thing they can see. It's very hard to see your other good qualities on Tinder or Bumble, whatever the fuck you guys using nowadays, right? So fuck this Blackpill nonsense. And keep in mind, you guys, it's just like the whole NoFap semen retention bullshit. You guys love to get advice from people who get no ass, right? The Blackpill movement is a bunch of non-cheek clapping motherfuckers trying to give you guys advice on cheek clapping. Just like the whole semen retention, NoFap bullshit. Bunch of guys who get no ass, we get no pussy, trying to tell you how to get pussy, right? Don't even get me started on NoFap and semen retention. I'm gonna destroy that thing over the next few weeks. But anyway, guys, hope this helps. Read the rest of my responses. If there's more time, I might do a part 2 to this. Yeah, I might do a part 2 where I go over my responses to some of the questions that you had. Anyway, guys, hope this helps. Post your next questions on the Reddit. Make sure you read the rules before posting first, and then I'll look through the questions and pick the best ones to make videos on. Alright guys, don't forget to like or share the video, subscribe and hit the bell, and buy my HSP Nucleus Overload training program. It's the ultimate program for maximum muscle growth. It includes full body workouts, splits, bro splits, push pull, home workouts, you name it. Also comes with a complete guide for macros, nutrition, fat loss, muscle growth, hormones, including a meal plan. It's pretty much all my 16 years of experience condensed into one fucking book. You're also going to get free copies of any future edition. So visit team3dalpha.com and you can use the 40% off coupon code Nucleus Overload. Or you could just buy the shit at full price. Alright guys, I'm out of here.